Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back for our new science video. On Wednesday, we talked about rocks and soils and how we can describe them, how they're made, how it's formed, and how we can classify them based on their attributes. We also talked about how they're made from the earth, and because we use them for so many different reasons, they're actually Earth's resources. And so today we're going to talk about some different resources that we use and why they're so important and how we can keep them sticking around, because we don't want to lose these resources that we use every single day. And so what I want us to do before we jump into our text is to create a quick little chart. I've shared my screen with you so that we can do a couple little things together. If you have a piece of paper, notebook paper, or a piece of white construction paper, I have made a little table like this. I've got my title up at the top, and I've got 5 boxes to the left. So if you have a piece of paper, go pause and make your paper look like mine. And when you're ready, play the video and we'll jump back into it. Okay, so today I want us to make a chart describing how we use the Earth's resources. And so most of the time when you have a chart or a table, it's important to make a title to it so that people know what you're talking about, what you're describing, what kind of relationships you're making based on this data. So we're just going to do some of our opinions, and the title of our chart today is going to be how we use Earth's resources. So I'm going to do a text box, and hopefully it'll let me do it on this whiteboard. How we use Earth's resources. So that's going to be the title of my chart today. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at 5 different resources that we use the most. And so I'm going to brainstorm some ideas. I want you to brainstorm some ideas. When I'm thinking of some things, you can pause the video so that I don't give anything away, but I might be working a little bit quicker than you're writing. So remember, anytime, the great thing about this virtual learning is that you're able to pause the video and go at your own pace and see if your answers match mine, or even if you come up with some different answers that are awesome as well. So we want to make sure that we write our title of our chart, which is how we use Earth's resources. And the 5 resources that I want to talk about today is, the first one is going to be water. The second one that we're going to be talking about is air. The third resource that we're talking about are plants. Another one that we're going to be looking at is animals. And finally, the last one is rocks or soil, because we talked about those on Wednesday. So these are my 5 areas that we're talking about. And I want to come up with some ways that we use them every single day. And so my answers might be a little bit different than yours. If you want to pause the video in between each section, that's great. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think before I start typing. So how we use the Earth's resources. So we know that we use water in tons of ways. So what are some ways that we use water every single day? Okay, we drink water. What else do we do with water? We take a bath with water. We can take a shower. We can brush our teeth. So we'll say take a bath. It's another way that we can use water. Maybe we swim in the water. We can use it that way. Animals drink water just like we do. Okay, what else? What are you thinking about? Okay, did you think about hydropower? Have you ever heard of hydropower? So some places use hydropower. That's when they use the power of water to either make energy or electricity or even heat. There's all kinds of different ways that people use water for energy, for things that we need. And so that is called hydropower. So we know that we drink water every day to stay healthy. We take a bath, take a shower, brush your teeth. We cook with water. We swim in water. Animals use water for all those things as well as hydropower. So that's a resource that we use every single day. All right, if we look at our second resource, air. That one should be really easy off the top of your head. Why do we need air? To breathe. We have to have air to breathe. Not just us, but animals need it as well. Plants also use They actually take in the carbon dioxide of what we breathe out and they actually convert it to oxygen so that we can breathe. So the plants actually help us with air, but we need air to breathe. What else do we need air for? Okay, plants need air to survive. I'll write that. Okay, and what else? It's kind of the same as the water. What did I say that was a little bit different that we don't think of too often? It's not called hydropower. So sometimes people use the air or even the wind to create energy. So if you see windmills out, if you're driving in the country and you see those windmills spinning, sometimes a lot of people use that energy from the wind and from the air to create energy, whether it's for light or heat or electricity. It's all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to write energy for, I'll write electricity for this one. So we're seeing that we use water every single day. We definitely need air, mainly for us to stay alive. If we don't have air, then we're not able to breathe, and that would not be good. So that's the main one that's very important. That is a resource that we need every single day. Okay, our next one is plants. So why do we need plants? Why do you think we need plants on the earth? Why would we need plants? Okay, I just said something about that goes with the air. Why do we need plants? Plants help us breathe, okay, remember? So when we breathe out, we're breathing out carbon dioxide, and the plants love to soak that up, and the plants absorb our carbon dioxide, and the trees and the plants and all of our bushes, they let out oxygen, and that's what we're able to breathe. So when we're outside, that's helpful for us because we're also, you know, the plants are helping us and we're helping the plants every single day. So we need plants and trees so that we can breathe. What else do we need plants? What can we use with plants? Okay, we can plant food. Okay, so maybe like fruits and vegetable. We need plants so we can eat them. Sometimes people will make products out of plants, like even so I know some hair dyes and some makeup and things like that have plants in them as well. We also have to think, who else eats plants besides us? Animals do. Okay, so animals need plants to eat. Okay, so right now these are all three things that somebody uses every single day. Maybe not us, maybe not the plants, but everybody is using these resources every single day. Okay, so what about animals? Why do we need animals? I know most people think that we need animals for pets, and you're right, we do like having pets, but think about them as a form of a resource. If we were out and about, and this was a long time ago, or like cavemen, what did they used to do with animals? Okay, they used to eat them. So people would eat, and we still do. If you eat hamburgers, you're eating a cow. So we have food. Animals are a source of food for us. What else? What about their fur? What could we use their fur for? Clothing. Okay, so we can use their skin, you can use their fur for clothing. Those are all things that we need to stay alive. So we need animals. That's a resource for us because they're food for us to eat. We can use clothing. People use leather from animals to make shoes and purses and all that kind of stuff. Think about the food chain. We've got big animals eating little animals. And what did I say our last video, our last science video? What happens to those rotting animals, those decomposing animals? What does that help make? Soil. So if we don't have soil, we can't do anything with plants and animals. That's really important. So we need that to help make our soil to mix with the rocks and the minerals. And finally, our last resource is rocks. Why do you think we need rocks? I know our texts talk about a couple examples. They showed us some pictures on the very first page of what we use rocks for. Why do we need rocks? Remember, we use rocks to build things, buildings, roads. Okay, so we need rocks to make buildings. We need our highways. What about tools? So people use rocks and things for tools like hammers or saws and things like that. There may be some rocks and some minerals in there, especially some of those older tools. What else can you think about? Let's think of one more. Think about that chart that we looked at in the text on Wednesday when we had the pencil and the toothpaste and the jewelry. What did we say about that? Let's think about the toothpaste. Remember, those minerals are part of like the fluoride in your toothpaste, so those keep us healthy as well. So there's all kinds of things. So let's say minerals for we'll just say toothpaste is the example for this one. So when we look at this chart, we just came up with 2 or 3 different things for each resource of the reasons how we use them every single day. So looking at this and thinking about how you use water, air, plants, animals, and rocks every single day, what do you think would happen if we didn't have any of that anymore? What if we didn't have water anymore? What if we didn't have air anymore? What if we didn't have animals anymore? Do you think that would be a very fun earth to live on? Probably not. So this lesson today is talking about the importance of these resources and how we can do our part to make sure that they stick around, because we need these resources. These resources need us. So this is what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to share my screen with our textbook so we can dive in, and we'll talk a little bit about that and what you can do at home. Straighten my book here. Okay, so how do we use natural resources? So we talked a little bit about that in our chart. We wanted to brainstorm some ideas before we jumped in, and you guys came up with a lot of good ways, I'm sure, on your paper as well. So think about those resources when we're reading. We're talking about air, water, plants, animals, rocks, things that we see and that we use every single day. So how do we use them? Earth's resources are also called natural resources. Air, wind, water, rocks, and soil are all natural resources that we use every day. Renewable resources such as water and wind are replaced quickly. So that's one of our highlighted words. It's very important we have a renewable resource. So all of these things that we talked about are natural resources because they're created by the earth. We're not making them. We don't make rocks. We don't make air. They exist in the earth. And so some of them are renewable. So if we use them up, they're going to be able to be made quickly. We're going to get them back quicker. But not all of them are renewable resources. A non-renewable resource like coal or oil can take millions of years to form. Once a non-renewable resource is gone, it cannot be quickly replaced. So when we look at renewable resources like water, we can get that back really quick. Maybe not super quick, but a lot quicker than a non-renewable resource. So it's got that non in front of it. It is not easy and it's not quick to be replaced. So if we use that coal or oil, because people get oil and they use that to make gas for your car, and we know that we drive in our cars every single day. So if we use up too much of that oil is non-renewable. I cannot just say, hey, I need more oil. I need it right now. It doesn't work that way. The earth takes a long time, millions of years sometimes, to form. And what do you remember about soil and rocks? Is that a quick process for it to break down all the dead plants and animals and mix with the decaying bits and pieces? Like, is that a quick process or does that take a long time? That takes a long time. So we have to think about some of our resources are a little bit easier to get, our renewable resources, but there are some resources that we use every day that we're not going to get as quickly. And so that's so important for us to be aware of and for us to remember that we can't just snap our fingers and get these resources whenever we want. Most of them are natural and they're around us, but they're going to diminish, they're going to go down, and we may not have as many resources if we don't take care of our planet. And so we're going to talk about some ways that you can take care of our planet, things that you can do at home to make sure that we're not using up our resources too quickly, because if we run out of our non-renewable resources, it's going to take a long time to get anything back. And we know that we use these resources every single day, so we want to make sure that we can keep them around and that we're not wasting them. So when we look at some of these examples that the text has given us, it says moving water makes power. So we talked about that hydropower like in a dam. So that's a renewable resource. So water is a little bit easier to get back, as well as wind, because that's just something that happens in the earth. Trees can be used for building homes and furniture. So we talked about our plants. So we're also using trees and the wood that comes from the trees to make things that we use every single day. I bet you all have chairs in your house, okay? So we used one of our resources to create that for us to sit on and for it to make our lives a little bit easier. Animal parts can be used to make clothing, or like this baseball mitt. So we talked about how some people used animal fur for coats or leather for shoes. Those are things that we use every single day as well. Soil is used to grow crops, but it's not made quickly. Remember, soil takes a long time for all of those components to break down or decompose and to mix with those small rocks. So when we think about these resources, we need to be aware of which ones are renewable, something that's quick to return, and non-renewable, something that is not quickly replaced. Okay, so why should we care about the Earth's resources? We need Earth's land, air, and water to survive. So remember, those are the three things that we need to stay alive as humans. So we need the land, so we have a place to live, we can grow food to eat. We need air so that we can breathe, we can keep our bodies moving, and we need water to stay alive. We have to have water to drink. If we do not have those three things to live, and they are not safe, and they're not a good place for us to be on, we will not be alive. So why do we need these resources? To stay alive. We have to have these resources in order to stay on the planet Earth. So it's very important that we do our jobs and make sure that we're keeping things clean and that we're using them wisely. When these resources are wasted or made dirty, we cannot use them anymore. Pollution is anything that makes water, air, or land dirty. So those are our three things that we need: water, land, and air. If you pollute them, if you make them dirty, then you cannot use them anymore. And if we cannot use them, we're not going to be able to survive. So factories and cars make air pollution. So if you look sometimes when you're driving behind somebody else in a car, you see some of that smoke coming out of the pipe on the back of the car. That's causing air pollution. It's making the air a little bit dirtier. So that's why some people don't like to drive cars. They rather ride their bike so that they don't make air pollution. Oil spills and other garbage in the water can hurt animals. So if you look sometimes, like in this picture, that ocean looks really dirty. The animals aren't going to be able to survive in that water. We can't turn that water into drinking water. So if you are polluting it, if you're making it dirty, then we're not going to be able to use it anymore. Litter is garbage that people leave behind. People can pick up litter to help stop land and water pollution. After having a picnic or playing outside, it is important to clean up garbage. Okay, so if it's a really hot day in the summer and you run inside and you get a cherry popsicle and you eat your popsicle and you say, I'll just throw it on the ground. Is that a good choice? No, you are polluting the land. Remember, we want our land to be beautiful. We don't want to dirty it. We don't want to be the people polluting our land. So make sure you pick up your trash. Don't throw anything in the oceans. Try your best to not have any of that air, land, or water pollution, because those are the three resources we need the most. Okay. How can we save Earth's resources? So now that we know how important they are, what can we do? What is our jobs as humans, as good people, to make sure that our beautiful Earth stays beautiful? What can we do? Okay, when we conserve something, we save it for use in the future. We can help to conserve Earth's resources. There are 3 R's you can remember to help save resources. They are reduce, reuse, recycle. So we have 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. And those are the ways we can help our earth stay clean and to not pollute it and to make it best for us to live in. So reducing means to cut back on how much you're using water or anything. So if you think I'm going to reduce the water that I use every day. So maybe when you're brushing your teeth, don't leave the water running while you're brushing your teeth. Turn the water off. And when you're finished brushing your teeth, then turn it back on to rinse your toothpaste. If you're taking a shower, you can reduce the water by taking a quick shower instead of playing in the shower or in the tub for a really long time. You can just get in and get out. That will reduce your water. If you have dirty dishes, some people like to use paper plates, but that's a lot of trash for our earth as well. So if you use regular plates like plastic or, ceramic or anything like that kind of plates, you want to make sure that you load up your dishwasher all the way full before you run a load, because if you only have 2 or 3 plates in there, you're wasting a lot of water. So we want to make sure that we're lowering the amount of water that we use. The next one is reuse. So reuse means to use something again. Remember, means to do again. That's your prefix re. So reuse is to use something again. So somebody used an old egg carton and they used it to put paints in. That is so smart to think of a way to reuse or repurpose something that we use every single day. Another way that you can reuse something is to use a refillable water bottle. So if you buy a nice sturdy water bottle, you can keep pouring water, drink it, get some more, drink it, instead of buying plastic bottles, because plastic is polluting the land because we're throwing so much trash away. So that might be a way that you can reuse your water bottle. And finally, the last thing you can do is recycle. So recycling means to make new items out of old items. So a lot of the things that you buy will have this symbol on them, and that means reduce, reuse, recycle. And if you see that symbol on it, it usually means that that item can be recycled. And what happens is that you sort things by what they're made out of. So it could be glass, it could be metal, it could be paper, it could be plastic. And there are, those big blue bins that some people have. You have your trash can and you have a big blue or green bin that has the symbol on it. And that is your recycling bin. And you sort those things out. And what companies do is they'll melt the stuff down or they will turn it into something new. That way we're not reusing all of these products. Instead we're creating something new. We're not just wasting them and throwing them into the garbage for them to try to decompose in a landfill. We're recycling them. We're using them again. So those are the 3 ways that we can help save our planet, is to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Those are things that we need to think about all the time. We can also make less pollution in the air and on land. How can we help? Ride your bikes more and use your cars less and put your trash in the garbage can. Remember, it's up to us to make sure that we're not wasting our resources and that we're making sure that we're leaving our earth clean, because if we help our earth, then our earth will help us. So what I want you to think about after we've talked about all these different resources that we've used and we use every single day, this week, I want you to think about what you can do at your house, and I want you to think about all the different ways this week that you're going to reduce your waste, reuse things that you do every day, and how you're going to recycle. If you do any of these things, please make sure to take a picture or a video, send it to us on Facebook so I can see how awesome you guys are doing, and make sure that you keep the earth healthy, and I will see you next time for a new science lesson. Bye, everybody.